Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we've got some repairs to do. So let's get these underway, shall we? I think I'm going to order these in essentially ascending order. So we'll just take anything that is relatively long down to the bottom here, and we'll bump this 2-dayer up to here, something along the lines of this, and then we'll do that. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so we'll get that underway. We need to get these repairs done. I'd like to deploy before the end of the month, which probably means that we won't have this guillotine ready to go, but that's okay. The Centurion will be done. The hydroponics garden is done now too. Let's take a look at our engineering here. Yeah, this is going to be complicated to get this medbay done this month, Tick. Definitely complicated. I want to get it done, but I think we have to hold off on it until after we get our next payment. I don't like not working on something. The other option, of course, is that we could scrap some parts. And maybe that's okay. We do have the stone rhino as well that I would like to get done. That's probably going to cost more than the 1.4 million that we have right now. Let's hop in here and take a quick look. There's these longbow parts. I'm not sure we're going to be able to really utilize that based on our weight limits. Let's actually head into the mediums. This is an area where we know we're not going to use these guys anytime soon, right? So let's go ahead and scrap all of these parts for 75k. There we go. And I'm kind of looking specifically for primitive parts, but there aren't really any of those. But these warthogs, ooh, that's a lot of cash. Yes, we will absolutely do that. We'll scrap that. We're not going to be using that warthog anytime soon. I don't think we need this nidhogg part either. We'll get rid of that. That's a good amount of money. I'll have to remember that these gunships scrap for a lot of cash. We've already got a nidhogg, so I don't think we need more parts. I mean, yeah, it'll probably have a different loadout, but I like the loadout of our current nidhogg. So we'll do that. That puts us up to 2.9 mil. And with that, the question now becomes Maxim parts. We'll scrap some of those, and Vedette as well. We'll scrap that. That puts us up over 3 mil. With that, I think we're now okay to purchase this medbay.
All right, I'll get the team on
there we go.
way.
And that puts us back essentially where we were. Great. So, let's get a little bit more scrapping done here, if we can. Let's go into our heavy area and look at vehicles. Heavy vehicle parts. Also, there's this Orion that is primitive. We'll keep it around for now. I don't know that we're actually going to need it, but it'll be fine. This pike, on the other hand, that's 115k that we can have. We can't really get away with increasing the weight of our vehicle lance because we're just running up against the weight limit right now. So we pretty much can just get away with scrapping any heavy and assault vehicle parts. So that's another 83k for us. There's, of course, the Valkyrie. Yep. The mobile long tom. The mobile long tom. I don't like it, but I'm going to scrap it. I don't see a scenario where I would prefer to bring a mobile long tom over the current mechs in our vehicle lance, considering that we already have our sorcerer as an artillery platform. If we didn't have a sorcerer as an artillery platform, then that would change the landscape. But we do. And so I think we're going to have to hold off on it. Anything else in here? Yes, Shiltrin. That's another good amount of cash. Fantastic. What else? Rhino. Yep, 400k. This is a lot of money tied up in these vehicle parts. These vehicle parts that we are literally never going to use because of weight limits. If this isn't enough money to get our stone rhino repaired, then I'm sorry. I don't know what is. We do have 20 clan heat sinks that we salvaged in the last mission. Let's go ahead and repair all of this. That gives us our engine core 400, our engine heatsink. We've already got a clan XL engine in this. Okay, we've got a clan heatsink here that I was going to think about removing, but I'm actually going to keep it there. We're going to max out the armor here. We've already got ferrofibrous armor in here. We may want to consider putting clan endosteel structure in here. That is not very many in terms of the slot usage. I'm very happy about that. So we have about 30 tons to work with here. Now the default loadout of this thing is 1,000,000 pulse lasers. Do we have enough pulse lasers? We've got 5. Okay. 14 is the default loadout of this thing. So we're going to put in as many medium pulse lasers as we can, including clan medium pulse lasers. Like so. And then maybe we're just going to have to go with medium lasers. Do we go with ER mediums? I feel like we do. Just because we have so much heat capacity here, let's take a look at what this would look like with all of these lasers in terms of remaining weight. And we've got 2 missile pods in the arms as well that we can work with. We want this ER medium, I guess, and then we could just put a regular medium in here, like that. That gives us 10 tons to work with. We do have the missile pods. We could potentially, we have no hand actuators. We could potentially put in like MRM 20s instead of all of these lasers. Dual MRM 20s would be pretty funny. Dual MRM 40s would be funnier. This would be really funny. Like, dual MRM 20s like this. Yes, we're already wildly overweight, but I'm just interested in... Look at that. 627 damage output, 747 melee damage. Bonkers. And that's only 3 tons overweight. That's only 3 tons overweight. Yeah, we would have a pretty dramatic issue with heat. There's no doubt about that. We could do perhaps SLDF sensors. Armored cowl might not be terrible. Just an improve... Ooh, energy accuracy. An energy accuracy FCS. That's great. And then beyond that, as far as the cockpit goes... Just a standard cockpit, which we've already got in there. And then for the sensors, we've already got clan sensors in there. Now we could put Omnipod hand actuators on here, right? No, we would, I think, have to change out the Omnipod. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that works. Stone Rhino might actually not be as omni as I'm thinking it is, but... I mean, we would have to have ammo on this, right? That is definitely a thing that we would need. We'd need some MRM ammo. And that's something we could do. We could put MRM ammo, say, in this leg. Hypothetically. I'm not worried right now about weight. Actually, I would kind of rather have it be up in the head. This is 200 shots. So each of these would be 5 turns of ammo. This would be plenty of ammo. And then, of course, we'd need heat sinks on here. We're still overweight. I'm aware of this. I'm just messing around right now, in all honesty. A heat sink here. A heat sink here. No. We need a clan heatsink here. There we go. And then we would need, say, a heatsink. This is a movable slot, but we would need to have it, like, over in this arm. So it would be something like this. Of course, this is very overweight and very overheated. There are a lot of problems here, but I'm just currently seeing what this would end up looking like. We could potentially switch this to heavy ferro. That would not have enough slots. Oh, we have assault jump jets on here. We could strip those off. That would give us 2 additional slots to work with. And also a fair amount of weight. And then from there, we can put in an additional double heatsink in the center, like that. Fascinating. We can drop the ER medium here, which would allow us to put in another clan double heatsink here. We're still 5 tons overweight. I'm aware of this. I want to keep the MRMs. I think that that's a good thing here. Let's drop a couple additional ER mediums. Actually, let's drop all of these ER mediums here. And yeah, this is going to hurt our damage output. There's no doubt about that. Drop this medium laser as well. And then we put in... Actually, I think it was... No, it would be in here. We would put in an ER medium laser again here, because we don't have a medium pulse laser for this spot. So we put in an ER medium here. That gives us 1.5 tons. Our heat efficiency is already magnificent here. So we could actually put in another ER medium laser here. Put it in over on this side, perhaps. That drops our heat efficiency a little bit. So then we put in another clan double heatsink, probably over in this arm. I would really prefer to have it be in the torsos than the arms, though, just to be a little bit more protected. It's not tremendously protected, of course. And then we would need one more clan double heatsink to really get the heat efficiency that we wanted. This would be pretty magnificent. And we only need to shave 1.45 tons. So the question becomes, how do we want to do that? I don't think we have an XL gyro. We only have 2 available slots, so I don't think we can get away with heavy ferro. Requires 6 additional free slots. Okay. This is what I want the mech to be. Or close to it. I'd prefer medium pulse lasers over the ER mediums here. That's, of course, an extra ton, so we would drop the 2 medium lasers and have a medium pulse here. That would be the way that I'd want to do this. How do we want to pull off an additional 1.5 tons, though? How indeed. Of course, adding AMS isn't the way to do it. But, we could drop this ER medium and this heatsink. And then we have 0.5 ton to work with. We could do like a small laser. Instead of the ER medium, we could do the clan ER small. Put that in, say, over here. This is still a very powerful armor stripper. There's no doubt about that. We were pretty limited by heat. There's no doubt about that either. But I'm reasonably okay with this. I think that this is decent. Oh, and we can put flare AMS on here too. That's something that we can do. I don't think we have any other specialist slots that we can really put into this guy, unfortunately. But I think this is good. I'm pretty convinced that this is a decent Stone Rhino build. Now, the point of this, of course, is armor softening and crit fishing. This is not intended to punch through one area. This is intended to do a lot of broad damage on the mech. The actual movement of it, not that fast, but it's not tremendously slow either. And the durability of it is quite high. I like it. Let's validate that. Looks good. Confirm. 1.3 mil, that's something we can absolutely afford. Excellent. Now, of course, that's kind of a low priority. Although, now that I think about it, I think that's our highest priority. Everything else is a lower priority, but I want to be working on that Stone Rhino. So let's go ahead and work on getting some of these other mechs done, shall we? We'll tick forward a little bit here. I don't necessarily want to hit this financial report We'll order Scrub to stay out of the mech bay. Yep, Scrub is now rebellious, sure. That's fine. Okay, we're going to proceed here. The Stone Rhino isn't going to be done for a while, right? But the Imp and a Guillotine have finished up. The Marauder and the Jaeger are going to be 4 and 11 days out. I think we have to take this financial report. But I'm not happy about it. We'll take it. We'll go ahead and take it.
Got a new financial report for you, Commander.
Yep, that's fine. Yes, bankruptcy is projected. No, we are not surprised by this. Work on the Marauder is now done. We're going to finish up the Jaeger. The medbay upgrade is now complete, and we'll reserve the private screening room for the senior staff. Morale increased by 5. Perfect. Okay, so the Jaeger will be done in 3 days, the Guillotine in 12. We'll go ahead and proceed until the Jaeger is done. And I think... do we want to deploy now? Or advance until everything is done? 14 days. It's going to be tight. But we can do it. We're going to advance here, at least until the Guillotine is done, and then I'll re-evaluate. Okay, 6 days, so we'll have 9 total. I think we're okay. We're going to continue to advance. The Stone Rhino is done. Excellent. Let's hop into the barracks and do what training we need to. A mech warrior is finally back, I see. That's great. We'll give him a point of tactics. Anybody else here?
I'm here.
Arclight, Aryamaki, blah, blah, blah. I do wish there was an icon that appeared on these guys when they were ready for training, so you didn't have to click through all of them. That would be a nice thing to do if there was a point available. I don't know if that's something that the RogueTech devs are even capable of doing, but in the base game, it would have been nice too.
Receiving you.
We'll grab a point of piloting for Kraken. And Lord Dacky, Scrub, Squib. Ooh, Squib gets a point here. What do you want? He's a Nidhogg pilot. I think Warlord is perfect for him. Go ahead and do that. Excellent. So he now has Warlord, Tarbox is doing fine, and Woody grabs Gunnery 9. Excellent. Okay, let's go ahead and deploy. We need to do that. That absolutely needs to happen, and hopefully I did my math correctly and we can actually bring the Stone Rhino in lieu of a Guillotine. We're about to find out, though. We need something that has some good payment, and I don't really care too much about salvage. This one is not shabby. This one is slightly more. Okay. This one is even more, but has a travel contract. 2 heavily armed lances. Yeah, we should be okay with that. I'm going to drop our salvage and bump up our payment so that we definitely get enough from this to be able to hit the financial report. Hopefully. Unless we take too much damage. Okay, so yeah, we're at 750 tons, so I did do my math correctly. We can drop the Centurion and bring the Stone Rhino, puts us right at 800 tons. We're not going to have Arclight in that. What's a mech warrior skilled in? Chameleon, Victor, Imp. Not handy. Is there anyone here at all who can pilot mechs? Who does not have... Nope. Okay. I guess we'll put Blaze in here as our best gunner, or best-ish gunner, with some heat reduction. That'll be handy for the Stone Rhino. Actually, no, the Stone Rhino won't need any heat reduction, will it? At any rate, that'll be a very, very nice Cavalry Lance addition for us. And we've got the Guillotine and Centurion ready to go if we need backup mechs. Wonderful. Lord Dacky, do you have tactic, or do you have skills in the Imp? Affinities? Lord Dacky? Please? Oh, it popped up for a moment there. Yes, he does have skills in the Imp. Perfect. Okay, let's do this. We've got a couple of very slightly underweight mechs. That's fine. We'll revisit them eventually, I'm sure. So this is going to be 2 heavily armed lances, and perhaps there might even be a third. We'll have to see. But it should, in theory, go pretty well for us, all things considered. In Lyran Commonwealth, Atlas scouts you. That is very true. That is very true. If we had chosen to go with Steiner, I would have made our lance just be 8 Atlases. Or rather, our company be 8 Atlases. And it would have been glorious and very ineffectual. But glorious nonetheless. If only you could get a little more tonnage for 12 Atlases and deploy Atlases as vehicles. That would be great, but no, you can't. However, we need to destroy enemy units. In violation of local treaties, a significant combat unit consisting of 2 lances of mechs have dropped on Ashcombe. Your task is to assault and dislodge the pirate force. You will send a definitive message. Unsanctioned military operations on Ashcombe will be eliminated with extreme prejudice. Leave none standing. Buckle up, Commander. 2 heavily armed lances? This is going to be tough. Well, we'll see how tough it is. We may or may not have allies. They know we're coming. We don't know where they are. We do not have allies. This map. Okay. I want to land on the high ground. Up here would be a pretty decent spot for us to land. Let's do something kind of... Let's see. This is pretty rough over here. It's a little dark, so it's kind of hard to see. But I want to do something kind of along the lines of this. Like that, approximately. The Sorcerer is maybe not exactly... Ooh, that got rid of them all? I didn't expect that to get rid of them all. Okay, I'm going to not deploy the Sorcerer there. I'm going to deploy the Sorcerer here instead. Guillotine there, Marauder, Victor. There, that looks good to me. We'll confirm that. Okay. So let's see where they are and whether our mechs are fuchsia.
Who fights over a place like this?
They are! Perfect. Okay, this is just a visual thing. Just a visual thing. Okay, so we see a Timberwolf there moving up.
Watch my 6.
Firing on the Nidhogg rear arc. Helpfully, we all turned and faced away from where the enemies are, but that's okay. We'll be able to deal with that. That, I believe, is the purpose of the 6 evasive pips. So we can see over here that they've got a couple of units over here. Okay, that's the reinforcements.
Looks like enemy reinforcements.
We knew that those were there. So we see a Cicada. That's not very scary. A Marauder, a Timberwolf. Honestly, this doesn't look that bad. Okay, whose turn is it? It is Squib's turn in the Nidhogg. Squib is going to move up here. Start accelerating.
Got it.
And we are going to... We do see a Berserker up there. Okay. We're going to fire on this Timberwolf. I'm not going to bother firing the rocket pack.
Confirm.
We'll wait until we're closed in a little closer. PPC starts a fire there. Interesting. Phase 22, the Marauder moves up, fires on our Nidhogg. It does hit it with a decent amount there, but that's fine. The Nidhogg is a good distraction.
Not much armor left in that location.
You're doing okay-ish.
What's up,
Emphasis on the ish. I think I'm going to send our vehicles down here to fight down here, and our mechs are going to advance along the road. So we're going to take our J. Edgar over to, I'm thinking this position.
No shooting, just running.
And we're going to fire on the Timberwolf here with as much as we can. We'll probably miss.
Confirmed.
And we did. That's acceptable.
That's a miss.
Yep. It's also fully expected.
I'm here.
The Archer is going to step forward over here. And we're going to fire at whoever we have the best hit odds on. The Berserker, 16.9, 12.5. This guy is 2.9. 61 on the Marauder. Okay, we've found ourselves a target. Very nice. Good armor shred. We even got a head hit out of that. I like it.
Ready for orders.
Our Sorcerer is also going to step up here, and I think our Sorcerer fires up here, just for splash damage purposes. Do we use Warlord here? Actually, I think we do. I want to reduce the chance that our shot goes super stray.
Locking on target.
AMS. Okay. Noted. So they've got AMS. We'll have to keep that in mind. We'll need to pop that AMS first. We'll move up with our Jaeger. And our Jaeger is going to fire at whoever we have the best hit odds on. 42.1 looks like the ones. Sounds good to me. We'll fire on that Marauder. Boom. Okay, one hit there. We'll take that. He's now unsteady.
Yeah.
Our guillotine is going to advance up this road. We're going to sprint, though. We're going to sprint to here.
Understood.
And we're going to light up this guy. We're going to go ahead and pop the binary laser into X2 mode.
Acknowledged.
One hit. One pulse laser hit. And the second binary laser also hit. That was very nice.
Standing by.
Our Dragon Slayer is going to sprint up into this crowded field as much as it can. And probably going to pot shot out this way with the snub nose. We're not going to get anything out of this, but we'll give it a go. Yeah. Pretty much as expected there. No worries. Next up, our Harasser is going to join our J. Edgar in engaging these guys down in the bottom. We're going to position here, and we're going to fire in AoE mode. We're going to fire on... Actually, the Marauder we have better hit odds on. I'm a little surprised by this, but go ahead and fire. Nice. That was some solid heat. We'll take that. They move up and do not fire. Okay. Next up is our Marauder. Our Marauder needs to sprint up the road as much as it can, which isn't tremendously far. We've got a bit of a backlog going on over here. And I think we will go ahead and fire the LBX out here. We're likely to get some hits anyway.
Acknowledged.
Oh, we didn't get any. Okay. I thought for sure with multiple targets there that we would have gotten at least one hit there. But nope. That's fine. Okay, so we see another mech pop up over here firing on the Nidhogg. That's okay. Our vehicles will be engaging this Lance over here, and we'll be able to engage them from the road as well. Okay, we knew that there was probably another guy over there, and there was indeed. Fires on the guillotine, gets a couple of hits in there. Sure. Phase 18. Here comes a big boy. Firing on the Harasser. And he misses everything. And probably overheats? No, he didn't overheat. Okay. But that was a lot of energy weapons, for sure. Our Stone Rhino is going to sprint forward as far as it can. It can't get into LOS to shoot anything just yet. That's okay. Our Maxim is, of course, going to make its way down over here, where it will be, you know, Maxim-ally effective.
No shooting, just running.
I'm sorry, I'll show myself out after this episode. But for right now, we're going to fire Inferno rounds on this guy. Get a couple more bits of heat in there. Sure. Another guy moves up the road. Fires on the Jaeger. Hits behind it and hits the Victor, though. Okay.
I'm showing minor damage.
This seems reasonably okay to me. Turn 15, it is our Imp's turn. We're going to sprint the Imp into this cover. Sprinting is not normally what I would do with the Imp, but in this situation, I wanted to get him onto this ridge, where he can fire on this Marauder. Now, I am going to Warlord this, and we'll confirm that. And that will boost our hit odds on this guy a little bit, and I'm going to take this overheat, I think. Only a couple of hits there. I was hoping for a little more, but honestly, that was about what I could have expected.
Getting pretty high.
Phase 24, we will see who moves. It will be their Cicada. Okay, and it fires on the Nidhogg. It got a surprising number of hits there, actually. The Nidhogg may end up dying fairly early in this, but that's okay. We don't care about that. They do seem to be running lances, despite running some clan tech. They're running, like, mixed clan and Intersphere. Yeah, this guy's a Corsair. That explains the AMS.
Good to go.
Okay. The Jaeger is going to hop up over here, where we can continue to put fire into their Marauder. I don't think we bother warlording this. I think our hit odds are good enough. Fire.
Here it comes.
I should have warlorded. Clearly, we missed everything.
Lucky that one.
Hindsight is 2020. Okay.
Ready.
We're going to move up with our Nidhogg here. Our Nidhogg is now going to come up over this way and engage these guys. Like so. I would love to drop bombs over here. We're a little too far. We can, however, drop bombs on this Marauder, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, good armor strip there. Not much left of that Marauder, and it is knocked down as well. Excellent. Phase 20. That is a Berserker out here. He's going to fire maybe on the Nidhogg. Sensor locking the Nidhogg. Okay, yeah. The Nidhogg is likely to die here, but that's
Waiting for
fine.
orders.
I don't mind it. We're going to sprint up with the Marauder onto the road. And the Marauder is going to do its very best crit fishing on this Marauder. We're going to go for the CT.
Engaging target.
What do we get for crit fish? Perfect. A kill.
Hostile removed.
Good crit fish. I like it a lot. Next up, their Marauder moves up, their other Marauder, and fires on the Nidhogg. It does do damage, but it doesn't shoot down the Nidhogg quite yet. The Nidhogg will get shot down, almost certainly. But we're okay with that. We accept this. Our Dragon Slayer is going to sprint up the road. We're trying to engage this force up here. We're going to potshot the Marauder out here, who is the only one we have LOS on.
Firing.
And we don't get it. That's not surprising.
Failed to connect.
Not surprising in the slightest. Next up, their Marshal moves up. Fires on the Nidhogg. Gets a couple of hits there. The Nidhogg still being a distraction.
Holding.
That's great.
What do you
Our
need?
Guillotine is going to join us in this assault over here. And we're going to actually kind of lead the charge with the Guillotine.
All right. Full speed.
There we go. I'm not going to Vigilance it this round.
Got something you want done?
The J. Edgar is going to make its way over this way and start softening up the rear arc of this Berserker.
Acknowledged.
Ooh, these are nice hit odds. I like it. Yeah, light him up.
Acknowledged.
Okay. 35 damage into his rear arc. We'll take that.
Orders?
Next up, the Archer is going to move over, and we are going to fire on this Marshal to try to trigger their AMS. If they're not in range of the AMS in the Marshal, because the Corsair is back there, then that's good for our Sorcerer. Unless the Corsair moves in between now and when the Sorcerer moves. Yeah, the AMS did not trigger there, so that means that we should be safe to drop our Sorcerer's
For orders.
arrow right in that nice little cluster of enemies. Drop it in there. That was a pair of very solid hits. Good armor strip there.
Waiting for orders.
The Stone Rhino is going to advance as much as it can, which is... Actually, this is direct LOS. We will accept that.
Moving out.
And it is going to fire on that Marauder with its long-range weaponry. I'm not going to bother firing the MRMs at this distance, but we'll fire... Did I not turn those off? Maybe I only turned off one set. Oh well. The Corsair does step up, but we no longer care. It fires on the Nidhogg. Yeah, this was fully expected.
Warning, heavy damage.
Now, when the Nidhogg moves in next round, if it's still alive, we know that there's going to be AMS. So we're going to want to change our firing order. But we're going to come in on this Berserker with our Harasser. And we're going to go into single target Flamer mode. Light him up. Only hit with 2 of those. Sad. But that's fine. Next up, their Berserker up here moves. Fires on the Nidhogg. That was a lot of pulse laser hits. The Nidhogg is going to die, to be clear. We know this, and it's completely okay if it does.
Receiving you.
No concerns whatsoever on that front. The Maxim unfortunately can't make it over to attack this Berserker this round. We're still going to move it in over here to back up our vehicles here. Okay.
What can I
The
do
Imp
for you?
is going to advance extremely slowly here, and we're going to fire on the Marauder and Sink Heat. We can't fire the ER mediums, and that's perfectly fine. I would love to Warlord that. Unfortunately, we can't. We did hit with one of those ER large lasers, though, so we'll take that. Okay. Round 24. This is going to be the Cicada moving. And it steps up, barely moves, fires on the Nidhogg, and gets no hits in. An interesting choice, to be sure. Next up, the Timberwolf is also going to fire on the Nidhogg. Ow, that's the Nidhogg gone. I was hoping the Nidhogg would survive this round to get some bombs out, but it's a fine distraction. I'm not concerned about that. Honestly, they did need to focus it. We're going to move up with our Archer, and our Archer's goal here is exclusively to trigger the Corsair's AMS. So who do we have the best hit odds on here? The Cicada is 21.7. This Marshal, it doesn't actually say. We'll have to click on it. 27. Okay, that's a little bit better. The Berserker, 19.3, and 21.7 on the Corsair. Okay, we'll go for the Marshal. Again, our goal here is to trigger their AMS. Which apparently wasn't in range. Fascinating. I thought it would have been in range by there. But okay, we're going to step up with our Jaeger, and our Jaeger can fire on the Marauder or on the Timberwolf. Hit odds are better on the Timberwolf, and we can fire the medium laser. So off we go. No hits again. Once again, I should have Warlorded. I definitely should have Warlorded there.
That's a miss.
That was 100% my own fault. Phase 21. That is that Berserker, turning around, firing on the Harasser. We just put a lot of heat into him, and he just burned a lot to try to kill the Harasser. Does he shut down here? No. He's got some good heat management then. Okay, that's fine. The Sorcerer will step up,
Confirmed.
and the Sorcerer's goal is to hit... Honestly, I kind of want to hit the Cicada here. But the Marshal is more centrally located, so we'll go for the Marshal. Get that sweet, sweet splash damage going. That was a terrible shot. That was also kind of a terrible shot. Well, that wasn't great. Okay.
Ready for orders.
The Victor is going to move up here, and it is going to get as much evasive as it possibly can.
Got it.
Now, I don't believe Kodiak has a good active ability. No, he does not have a good active ability. But what he can do is he can fire on this Cicada with the Ultra AC-20. Good hit odds, and if he misses, there's stray shots around. And that is a dead Cicada. That Ultra AC-20 was pretty much always going to kill that Cicada if it hit.
Yeah.
Now, our Guillotine is going to step up here, and our Guillotine is a little bit more delicate than the Dragon Slayer, so we're going to go ahead and Vigilance the Guillotine. It's also in front. And we're going to fire on their Corsair, as I think that is the larger threat here and the best hit odds. So we'll go ahead and fire on him, and hopefully we'll be able to take those AMS out fairly quickly. Of course, this is just a little bit of armor strip right now. Missed the second binary laser, but that's okay. Next up,
Yes, Commander.
the Stone Rhino. The Stone Rhino is going to sprint up to here. It is, of course, part of the Cavalry Lance, and so we want it to engage this Berserker up here. Now, I am interested in potentially firing on this Berserker here. Our hit odds aren't the best, but I think we'll take it.
Target locked.
That's still good armor strip, even with most of that missing.
Ready for orders.
Our J. Edgar is going to circle around behind their Berserker. It's likely to draw the ire of some of these guys because we are having very few evasive pips. That's okay. We don't mind if it does.
Strike.
45 more damage into that Berserker's rear arc, and building up heat, almost more importantly. This guy firing on the Guillotine. We are, of course, vigilanced. Okay.
I'm taking heavy hits, Commander.
Yep, but that's why we vigilanced you. Next up is our Harasser.
Commander?
And we're going to do the same thing with the Harasser that we did with the J. Edgar. Once again, this is putting it in substantial danger, but if the Harasser dies, we're okay with that.
Confirmed.
3 hits with the Flamer. Perfect. That was very, very nice. The Marauder moves up, probably fires on one of these guys. Yep, it's the Harasser, but it actually doesn't kill it.
Reporting. Serious armor loss.
So that's a waste of a turn for them. The Marshal moves up, sets itself on fire, and attacks the Dragon Slayer. Sure. It can do that if it wants. It actually put itself in a very dangerous position there, I believe. Unless we can't walk behind it, that embankment might be too steep. Okay, more damage to the Guillotine. We expect this. The Guillotine is currently our front line there. That Corsair overheated pretty dramatically.
Let's do this.
Okay, our Marauder is, of course, our other member of our Cavalry Lance, so the Marauder is going to maraud forward here.
Time.
And I think, given these hit odds, we will go for the Marshal. Hopefully, we won't backstab.
Got it.
And we didn't, and we got good armor strip there. It does look like that's a little too steep for us to get in behind the Marshal, but honestly, given that armor strip, that's completely fine.
What's up, boss?
Our Maxim is now capable of getting into the rear arc of this Berserker as well,
Going full
and I'm going to go ahead and Warlord this. Clustering roll and accuracy modifiers. I'm not going to fire Inferno rounds because we want to penetrate this weakened rear armor. That was nice.
Now that
Mask in an assault mech? Oof. They didn't manage to shoot down any of our SRMs there with their AMS, which is kind of hilarious. Our Imp is going to stay put and probably fire on the Timberwolf. Definitely the Timberwolf. We can't fire all of our ER mediums because of heat, but we can fire 3 of them, or 1 of them rather. Missing that Gauss again, but a couple of points of damage into the Timberwolf. We'll accept it. Okay, round 25. That's their Timberwolf. It goes for the Harasser. Sure, the Harasser dies, and we're completely fine with this. If they want to blow up vehicles, go for it, please. I'm absolutely A-okay with this. So the Guillotine is at this point going to move in over here on the Marshal. And we're going to kick the Marshal. We can't fire the binary laser because of heat. But we're going to do this. I'm also going to Vigilance the Guillotine first, actually. So we'll Vigilance the Guillotine, and then we'll move in here. How much heat generation would we get with the binary laser if we turned on Controlled Bursts? I'm actually going to do it. Controlled Bursts on. We kick this guy and fire the binary laser. I think I'm okay with this. Do it.
Acknowledged.
Good kick. And as far as the second binary laser goes, this is probably a knockdown, but as far as the second binary laser goes, let's see. Nice. That's certainly a knockdown. Oh yeah, that's a leg destruction.
Scored a critical hit.
Okay. And down he goes. Boop. Very nice. Yeah, the Guillotine's running a little hot, but so are they. They fire on the J. Edgar. This is a waste of time for them. The J. Edgar is not the threat here. The Maxim is the threat. But even then, the Maxim isn't much of a threat. This guy failed his shutdown override. He is just dead, I think. We'll see what our Maxim gets for crits. But I'm going to take the J. Edgar up around here and start softening up this Marauder. We'll hit his rear arc. Heat him up a bit if we can. Excellent. We'll see what we get there. And now our Archer will step forward here to this position. And we're going to light this guy up with Deadfire LRMs. This should be a kill.
Confirmed.
Excellent. Very nice.
We can salvage that.
One down.
What do you need?
Next, the Jaeger is going to fire on the Timberwolf again, I think. Yes, definitely the Timberwolf, because I don't want a stray shot back on the J. Edgar if possible. We are going to Warlord this time.
Roger.
And we got one hit there. That'll do.
I'm
Okay,
receiving
the Stone Rhino is going to step forward. This is a fantastic position for the Stone Rhino. This Berserker is about to get very sad indeed. I'm going to go ahead and turn on... Well, do we need controlled bursts here? We actually don't.
taking the shot.
Huge amount of armor strip on that Berserker. Fantastic.
Ready for orders.
And now the Dragon Slayer can come in here. We can actually... Side arc is the best we can do here. But we can hit this guy side arc with a kick and hit him with everything we've got. Hopefully, our Ultra AC-20 will have better odds than this after our kick succeeds. We'll see.
Confirmed.
And we missed the kick. Okay. This isn't going to go super well then.
Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, if we had hit that kick, I think those Ultra ACs would have hit, and that would have been much better. We had a 78% chance on that kick, but
Standing by.
alas, it did not work. We're going to move up the Sorcerer. We no longer care about firing artillery over here. We're going to fire it on this Timberwolf, possibly in direct mode. Yes, in direct mode.
Roger.
Very nice.
Reporting. Critical hit.
That was excellent. Next up, the Corsair steps forward, moves into the fire, fires on the Dragon Slayer. Doesn't do all that much to it, but it is side arc. He might shut himself down.
Enemy fire.
Let's see. He didn't shut down, but he's very overheated.
Good to go.
Our Marauder is going to sprint forward here if we can get by the Stone Rhino. We can't. So we're just going to position here,
Moving to position.
and we are going to light up their Berserker again. This is an overheat alert. I'm still going to Warlord this. But I think we're probably not going to fire our medium laser Agra for heat purposes.
Engaging with target.
I've definitely seen better MRM spreads.
My armor is getting ripped off.
Indeed.
I'm taking heat damage.
Okay, the Berserker moves up and attacks the Guillotine here. It actually misses its melee attack. That means that they ended up missing... Well, they ended up completely destroying their formation discipline here. A good attempt, I suppose, but what was the end game of that? Look at its position compared to the Stone Rhino. I don't think that was ever going to work. That particular move. Maybe they could have gotten lucky and killed the Guillotine, but I doubt it. We're going to Warlord, and we are going to attack the Timberwolf here. Can we get away with firing a second ER medium? Yes, we can.
No sweat.
As a leg destruction. Which, of course, means that Timberwolf is knocked
Where that
down.
came from.
Down he goes. Excellent. Next up, the Marauder fires on the Dragon Slayer. Okay, so that's the structure exposure out in that arm. That's fine. We can play around that.
Internal damage.
Yeah, you're reasonably okay. That is this arm here. That's just a machine gun in that arm. So I'm not too concerned about it.
How's it going?
The Maxim can come in behind the Berserker.
I copy.
He is shut down, which means that we actually get a called shot here. And we're called shotting that CT. Wait, he has an XL engine, doesn't he? It kind of doesn't matter which of these we kill. But go for it. And he is dead. Fantastic.
That's a kill.
Next up,
There's work to do.
that is our Guillotine. Okay. Our Guillotine is going to position, I think, just over here. Let's see. That Corsair does move before our Victor does. Okay. Yeah, we're going to position over here, and we're just going to kick this Berserker. And just checking when we move. These guys both move before the Corsair does. Okay. We'll see if we can do anything there. So we'll kick this Berserker. And we'll do a little bit of damage to him with our Armor Shred. That's not too much, of course, but it's never expected to be.
Yes, Commander.
Our Jaeger is in a perfect position, of course, to go for the kill on this Timberwolf. And that's exactly what we'll do. Do they run an XL engine in Timberwolves? It feels like clan mechs usually do. That was an engine crit there.
How'd that taste?
Okay. Phase 20. That is this Marauder. We'll see who he goes for. He just didn't fire. A bold choice, to be sure. We're going to fire on this Timberwolf. We may get some splash damage on that Marauder. I'm not going to fire the ER mediums. We did get a little bit of splash damage in there. Good.
Take that.
I'm a little surprised that Timberwolf didn't eject. Our Archer is going to step forward here. We are not going for this Berserker right now. Right now, we are going for this Corsair. In Deadfire mode, I'm going to go ahead and Warlord here for the +1 gunnery and clustering. There we go. And our goal here is to not have that guy destroy this arm. I don't know how successful we can possibly be on this, to be clear. But that's the goal.
Welcome to my house.
We did get a sensor impairment there, and we did a lot of damage into his torso.
Yes, boss.
Next up, our Marauder is going to sprint forward. The only one that it can hit is the side arc of this Berserker, which I'm not super happy about. We're not going to fire this medium pulse laser or this medium pulse laser for heat purposes, but we'll then light into this Berserker. Okay, decent armor shred. Our Victor is likely to lose its arm here, which is not ideal under any circumstances. The Berserker backs off and fires on the guillotine. Okay. That is a structure exposure. It crit the binary laser, so that'll need to be repaired. But the binary laser is okay for now.
Standing by.
The Stone Rhino... No. Game, why did you minimize? Thank you. Come back. The Stone Rhino is going to step up to here.
Alright.
And we are sprinting. And I'm also going to do controlled bursts here. I want to fire on this Corsair. Reason being the Berserker already moved. I'd like to delay the Corsair's movement, if at all possible. Light him up. We accept that is actually not going to overheat thanks to controlled bursts. Perfect.
Alright.
That's a shoulder destruction, and the Corsair now doesn't move until phase 13. Perfect. That's exactly what we were looking for, was to delay him. Okay, we're going to move over here with the J. Edgar and heat up this Marauder, because I believe that this Timberwolf will die to our support fire. Good. Couple of bits of heat there. And we softened it up his rear arc. In fact, we exposed structure on that leg.
Waiting for
Our Maxim is also going to come up here,
heading out.
and we are going to light into this guy's rear arc. I don't think this is a kill unless we get lucky, but... that's an AC5 ammo explosion.
Critical hit, Commander.
Torso destruction and a knockdown? That's not a knockdown, but he lost his evasive, and he's no longer anywhere near as dangerous.
Standing by.
Okay, our Dragon Slayer is now going to move over this direction. If we were to move here, we need to think about this movement. We actually can't. Okay, so if we were to move here, we want our right side to be facing away from these guys, like this. Okay, we'll do that. And then we will go ahead and hit this Corsair as hard as we can. This would overheat us. I'm not going to fire this medium laser. Actually, that's barely any heat. I'm going to go ahead and take this overheat. There we go. The Corsair is dead. Perfect.
Mech destroyed.
Okay, next up
Generating a
is
lot of heat.
our Imp. Sure. The Imp is going to go for the kill on this Timberwolf. We're going to not fire this ER medium laser, but everything else is good. I was hoping that that would kill.
Yeah, critical hit.
Sadly, it did not. So this Timberwolf gets up. It shouldn't be very threatening at this point. Fires on the Maxim. Okay. It's completely fine. We don't care. That is a truly irrelevant choice by them. So our Jaeger is at this point going to... We could actually go for this Marauder over here, and that's what I'm going to do. We have better hit odds over here. That'll be a knockdown, which will delay this Marauder's movement. It does mean we can't hit its rear arc, but that's okay. I'm fine with this. Okay.
Standing by.
Our Sorcerer is going to fire on this Timberwolf, and hopefully we're not going to stray shot anybody. Perfect. That was exactly what I hoped for.
Mech destroyed.
So there's that guy down. And our Archer can move up to, like, here. But that's actually in minimum range for Deadfires. So we could step back to here for Deadfire purpose. And light him up. I like how our Archer is kind of an honorary member of the Cavalry Lance right now. Even though it still has Artemis ammo. Kind of exciting. So a little bit of armor shred on the Berserker there, but honestly, that's not the primary goal here. The primary goal here is, of course, to hit this Berserker in the rear arc with the Dragon Slayer. With everything we've got here, except the Snub-Nosed PPC for heat purposes.
Acknowledged.
Get in there. Good kick. He should now be unsteady. He is. We did hit one of those autocannon hits. I'm not sure where the other one went. It may have stray shot our Stone Rhino.
These things can't take much more.
No, I don't think it did.
Standing by.
So we're good. So our right side is our weak side here. We could position exactly right here with the guillotine. It would expose our right side like this if we were to melee, though. So I'm not going to melee with the guillotine. I'm instead going to position like this, because I don't want to expose this torso. And we're going to go ahead and fire on this guy. We are going to fire the binary laser here, I think. Nope, we're going to sink heat.
Firing.
And just do a little bit of armor shred for the Stone Rhino. The Stone Rhino is the one that's probably going to get in there and do a bunch of stuff. The J. Edgar is just going to heat up this Marauder a bit. Maybe go for a leg destruction.
Roger.
Seems okay. Now, they're going for the Archer. I mean, the Archer was completely fresh, so okay. I'm fine with this. Seems good to me. They didn't even move.
What can I do for you?
Well, Lord Dacky, you can go for this Marauder. Hopefully get a kill on it.
Got it.
That was a good Gauss shot. Not so good on the lasers, but still an ejection. We'll take it.
Waiting
The
for
Stone Rhino is now going to walk in. We could side arc kick this Berserker. I like it. I'm not going to fire this ER medium laser for heat purposes, but everything else we will fire. Get into that side arc. Light him up.
Order acknowledged. Engaging.
Good kick. Good armor shred. Very nice.
Scored a critical hit.
That's probably a knockdown.
I hate
Yep, that's a knockdown on that Berserker. Excellent.
Receiving.
And then our Marauder will... I was going to say step forward. Actually, it'll go to here.
Roger.
and then we will light this guy up. The Berserker is going to take a bunch of damage here. Unfortunately, we can't fire the medium pulse lasers, but that's completely fine.
Target confirmed.
And there we go. One dead
Target
enemy.
eliminated.
That's exactly what we were looking for, of course. And we should get pretty decent pay from this. Some of our mechs did take some damage, so we are expecting maybe around 300k in terms of repair costs. Well, it was really only the Guillotine and the Victor, right? The others were quite minor. So maybe it would be more along the lines of 200 to 250k? We'll have to see. The Archer took a little bit, but overall, I don't think that's too bad. In terms of salvage, I think we're just going to take the pair of Berserker parts. We did get a clan cockpit. We have a couple of those. 9 regular heat sinks. We'll sell that. And 2 heavy jump jets. We'll sell that too. That'll help offset our repair costs. Excellent. So the question is, just how much does this actually cost to repair? And the answer, probably altogether too much. Or at least more than I'd like. My guess is that this does not quite put us up over what it's going to cost on the next month tick. The real question is, how long do repairs take? Do we get to deploy everybody before the next month tick, or do we have to bring in some of our substitute mechs? Which we now have. And that's great. We are going to deploy before the next month tick, almost guaranteed. Yeah, 200k, that's about what I expected. It won't actually be 22 days for the repairs. Let's see how long it will actually be. It'll actually be 10 days. And we have 9. Okay, so we're going to have to leave the Dragon Slayer and Guillotine at home. I'm going to tick forward 2 days here. There we go. And we're going to finish up the Archer and then 2 more days on the Stone Rhino. Like that. Let him keep working at it. No lasting consequences. Okay. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will deploy one more time before our financial report. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.